name a few more, all these, you see the same kind of dress and the lifestyle, and the women are sitting demurely down and they're doing their embroidery and all that kind of thing. Same kind of a lifestyle. So that's what probably she had, even though she was known by her as a bit of a tomboy when she was a child, because she was out playing with her brother David, and she didn't have a sister very close to her, so the two, I presume, were up to every mischief. And then her father had to defend her and say, her mother was giving out about her nose, and her father said, oh, Nana would be a saint yet. So that was that. So I've rambled on now from that. Where was I? Oh yes, I was talking about the kind of lifestyle that they had. They wore these caps because they didn't have central heating. And you know, the heat of your body goes out, it seems, so that some doctors say, to the crown of your head. And if you want to keep your head, if you want to be warm, you go around with these caps anyhow. That's, I don't know any other explanation why all the women wore these kind of caps. And incidentally, apropos of that cap, when the famine broke out in Ireland, and other times when people were hungry, Nano and her teachers taught the children to make little nets. Now the fingers of the children were nimble, and they could make a net for your hair. They don't have them now, but 50 years ago, women, when they would get their hair done, would put on a net over to preserve it. And the child got twopence for every net that she made, and she earned 6 and 6pence in the week. And that was as much as her father, if you were a labouring man, that's as much as he would get for the wages for the week. So the child was able to make that much money out of, but you had to be skilled, of course, to make the knots of the hairnet, you see. And sorry, that's a digression now, but there you are. That is the kind of lifestyle that they had over there. Over there at the side is an engraving. Now, an engraving is a most awfully difficult thing to do, because it is done with a pen and ink and dots. You have to lines and dots, and you have to fill in the dots over there. That is in the British. The original of that is in the British Museum, dated 1809 or 1813. I'm not sure which. And that is the traditional and familiar picture of Nano Nagle. Now, there it is over the fireplace. It's just the same, and of course they only fitted in 3 children, but whereas they would, Nano expected to have about 60 children when she opened her school, or 1 or 2 or 3 schools first, and it turned out to be 400. She said that in one of her letters. I'll show you the letter there, the booklet. It turned out to be 400 between all the little schools dotted around the city. And of course, she couldn't be in 7 places at the same time, so she had to get teachers, she had to get somebody. Actually, I suppose she must have trained them herself. There was no training college for Catholic teachers at the time, and probably maybe they just, you know, 1 page ahead of the class. I was like that myself when I began teaching in the beginning. I was just a little bit ahead of the class, but I was never better than that time, because I wasn't too far above the children. Anyhow, that's a digression again. Now we will go. There's her granduncle, who sided with James II at the Battle of the Boyne, and the two were no good at fighting, and they lost the battle, and they had to run out of the country over to the King of France. Was it Louis XIV? I forget now which of them. But anyway, they had to run out of the country to France, and somehow he had a big family, and somehow he managed to get them out some way. I haven't time to spend on that, and I have no idea how he managed to get them from Ireland to France, but he did. He had ways and means. The south of Ireland, along the south coast of Ireland, was a great place for smuggling, and they brought wine from France, and they brought silk from France, and somehow they were never caught, because the whole south coast of Ireland is all caves and everything like that. They were able to hide the stuff. So they had ways of outwitting the, shall we say, the English navy or boat sports or whatever. We were always great at, doing things like that when we were forbidden to do. So where am I now? There's there's a granduncle, Sir Richard Nagle, and that's how Nano had so many cousins. Oh, when she left Ireland to go to school in France, that's how she had so many cousins, to have a lovely time with them. All his children, grandchildren were there before her, a good number of them anyway. That's her brother Joseph there, who got into a towering rage when he found out that she had opened a school. You see, when she came home first,
could we just situate the Battle of the Boyne, her great uncle Richard? That was the definitive battle.
1690.
That was where the origins of the troubles in Northern Ireland emanate from that time.
And they're still with us.
Yes.
They're still with us.
So that was kind of a benchmark.
1690, the Battle
Sorry
of
for
Boyne.
interrupting.
Yes, that's all right. That's all right. Yeah. So anyhow, there we are. There's her brother Joseph, who got into a towering rage when he found out that she had opened a school. You see, when she came home first, having been told by the priest in Paris, you better go home to those children, you'll never find a day's peace, you'll have no peace, God will give you no peace until you come back to them. So she came back to the children, and when he found out, a poor man, you know the story, do you? A poor man came to the door one day and he said, would you ask your sister for a place for my child at her school? And he went in laughing his head off, because he thought, well, the idea of Nano, a schoolmistress, that was the last one. And then she said, well, I know again, I have to admit it, I have opened a school, she told him. And he went into a towering rage then. He said, you'll bring the whole lot of the penal laws down on us again. Now, to know about these penal laws, they're laws that punish people for being something. Now, in other words, the English punished the Irish for being Catholic, and they're keeping their faith at the top. Now, let me